We don't have to graph in colors. I just thought I would throw it out there, at least during the lesson, and then you can decide what works for you, okay? All right, so this is lesson 5.3. So you guys know last semester Weber State made some changes to 1050, right? So I kind of wish I took some time and I edited the workbook from last semester, but I wish I had edited this lesson a little more. So we're going to be doing some crossing out and some changing, and I'm going to teach you in a way that Weber State's going to ask you this semester, okay, on your midterm and your final. Okay, we're going to jump right into it, okay? So here's example 1. Right on the side of you, face up, I want you to have your paper that I gave you with the directions, okay? My hope is this. Before you're done with your homework, I hope that you're able to do this, okay? So for now, let's use it. Let's look at it. Throughout the lesson, as I'm quizzing you, I'm going to say, try not to look at your paper. What do we do? Try not to look at your paper. But then sometimes I'm going to say, look at it and let's talk about it. Okay, so for now, let's have that thing out. Okay, step number 1 is to factor. So everybody look at that equation we have. Nothing factors. Okay, so there is no step 1. Step number 2, find the domain. How do you find the domain? Everybody tell me. Bottom. That's all I need from you is just bottom, right? So if you set the bottom equal to 0, you get x cannot be equal to 1. Done. Okay? Look at your paper. Step number 3 is reduce. You guys, I think that there are people in my 1050 class that don't understand that the x on the top does not cancel with the x on the bottom. You cannot reduce that. Why can't you reduce that? Somebody tell me. The -1, that's not an x on the bottom. It looks like an x. It's not an x. It's an x minus 1. That's one thing stuck together, okay? Nothing reduces. So now we're down to step 4, which is to find the whole. Everybody tell me, what is the whole? There is no whole. Why is there no whole? Because nothing reduced, right? Easy. Question 5, or step 5, find the reduced equation. Well, the reduced equation is going to be the same as the given equation because it doesn't reduce, right? So everybody write down f of x equals 2x over x minus 1, okay? The next step is to find the vertical asymptote. Tell me how to find the vertical asymptote. One word is all I want from you. Bottom, right? Bottom. Make yourself remember. Make yourself remember. And we're not going to be perfect right now. We're still learning. But try to remember, okay? Bottom equal to 0, x equals 1. How many x minus 1s do I have? Just 1. So this is an odd vertical asymptote, okay? Next is x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, you let y be 0, which is the same as letting the blank be a 0. Here's where you're responding. What's the blank? The top, right? If I set 2x equal to 0, I get x equals 0. So my x-intercept is 0, 0. I have one x on the top. 1 is odd, so my x-intercept crosses. Okay? If 0, 0 is an x-intercept, then it's also a y-intercept. Okay? Now, I want you to take this HA and OA, and I want you to hook those together. And I want you to say non-vertical asymptote. And then maybe even just lightly cross through those. So you're never going to have to specify which one it is. Weber State used to make me specify. Now they just say a very general question, what's the non-vertical asymptote? So what you do is you first check if it's horizontal. Try not to look at the paper. I want everybody to talk to me. How do you find a horizontal asymptote? Biggest over biggest, right? Biggest on the top over biggest on the bottom. The biggest exponent on the top is an x, so write down the whole term, 2x. The biggest exponent on the bottom is just a 1, that's an x. This is the easiest scenario because those x's just cancel out and your non-vertical asymptote is y equals 2. Okay? Who says I'm with you? Raise your hand, let me see. Okay, make sure you stick right with me. Okay, everybody stick right with me because this is, you don't want to be jumping ahead. Okay, Does it cross a non-vertical asymptote? This is something new, okay? Take the non-vertical asymptote, which is y equals 2. Write that down. Take the reduced equation and write that down. 2x over x minus 1. Listen what they're asking you. Do those two graphs touch? That's what they're saying. Well, I could graph them and see if they touch, but you guys, I can just use substitution or elimination. So look, if y is 2, and if y is also 2x over x minus 1, then those things that I just highlighted in yellow must also be equal to each other because they're both y, right? Another way to think about it is this. If y is 2, I'm just going to take that y and replace it with a 2. So then you'd have 2 equals 2x over x minus 1. Then you cross multiply. Distribute the 2, and you have 2x minus 2 equals 1 times 2x is 2x. This 2x comes over and becomes a negative and knocks that guy out. So now I have negative 2 equals 0. You guys, is negative 2 equal to 0? No. So does it cross a non-vertical asymptote? No, it doesn't. Okay. Let's write a little bit of notes right here. Okay. Write this down so that you remember how to find it. So you're going to say right side of non-vertical asymptote is equal to the right side of reduced equation. That's how you're going to find that. And then you'll cross multiply. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's go to the graph. Take your red marker and draw a vertical asymptote right there at x equals 1. Dash it, and up above it, write the word odd. This is what I need you to understand. I'm going to have two pieces to my graph. One on the right of that vertical asymptote and one on the left. So right now I know I have 2. Okay? My non-vertical asymptote is y equals 2. Everybody come up to 2 and draw a horizontal asymptote right there. Why did I leave the center open? Can someone tell me? Because it can cross it. Good. Does it cross it?
No.
It doesn't. So if the answer to does it cross is a no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fill it in. Okay? Now I want you to switch to your pencil. And let's draw the graph in pencil. Everybody put a dot at 0, 0 and put a C because it's going to cross through. That's everything I know. That's all I know of what I found. Okay? Now what I want you to do is to just relax and I want you to watch. Okay? There's a lot of things you have to remember right now. Have you guys played Sudoku? Raise your hand if you played that game. Okay, it's fun. You should play it. It's good for your brain. So, those of you who have played, once you know that this is a 2 and this is a 1, then you know this guy who was going to be a 2 or a 5 can't be a 2, so now he's a 5. And now that's a 5, then this guy can't be a 5, so he must be a 9. And then it just starts getting all figured out. Who says, yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's exactly what this is. It's exactly like Sudoku. Okay, so watch. Listen to all the things you have to remember. I can never cross this vertical asymptote. I'm going to have a piece over here and a piece over here. Normally my horizontal would be opened. I filled it in because I know I can never cross that right there. This is a big one. See this x-axis? You can never touch the x-axis, ever, except right there. So if you drew a graph, guys, that looked like this, and you came through and you went up like that, you know you're wrong because you cannot touch it right there, okay? Who says I understand that? The other thing you need to remember is this. Look, this asymptote is odd. So as you approach it, one comes up and one comes down. So it might be like that, but it might also be like that. Who says I understand everything you just said? Wonderful. Okay, you're still just kicking back. Okay, watch. Left-hand side could go up like this, okay, or it could go down like this. I don't know which one. Grab your pencil right now, and I want you to draw an arrow to the right and an arrow to the left. We know that's where our graph is going at the end. The horizontal asymptote or the non-vertical asymptote tells me where to go as x gets big and x gets small. Who says I understand that? That's the number one reason people don't get this. They don't know where to go. Okay? Watch this. Purple. Just watch. Up high. I have to get to that intercept. So come down, cross through, and now I'm like, where do I go? And I go, oh yeah, I already drew that arrow. So I have to come up, and I go like that. The fact that I'm below is not a problem. Is that the right graph? That is not the right graph. Why not? There's two things I did wrong. Ryan? I crossed the x-axis right here, and I cannot touch it anywhere except at 0, 0. What else did I do wrong, Hope? Cross the non-vertical asymptote. So up on the left, it's not happening. It doesn't work out, right? So now I know that it must be down. It has to be down. Okay, so let me do it down, and then you guys watch. Look, down low, come over, cross through, and now I think right there is where people panic, and they're like, well, where do I go now? Well, I already drew where to go. So you just head to your arrow, and you go like that. Does it matter that it's below when I drew my arrow up? No, I'm just trying to show you where to go. Okay, everybody fill that in. Now look, this asymptote is odd. As I approached it from the left, it went down. Therefore, as I approach it from the right, it's got to go, talk to me everybody, it's got to go up. Odd means one up, one down, so this has to be up, swing down, come over, connect. There's my answer. Okay, who says I followed you? Raise your hand up high. Okay, wonderful, let's keep going. Number 2. Look at your little paper. Or don't if you don't think you need to. Okay? Tell me what the first thing we have to do. Very first thing. Let's look at our paper. I'm getting lots of words. I appreciate you trying. Thank you for trying. Right? Instead of being mute. That's frustrating to me. Look at the first one. Factor. Right? Let's factor it. Everybody write f of x equals the top factor is 2, x plus 2 times x minus 2. On the bottom, x plus 1 times x minus 1. Try to remember without looking. If you must look, then look. What is the next step? It is domain. Yes. Where do I look for to find the domain? Bottom. So I know x cannot be equal to plus or minus 1. Do you remember step 3 without looking? It's okay if you don't. We're learning, right? Look at your paper. What does step 3 say? Reduce. Does anything reduce? No. Step number 4 is whole. Do I have a whole? No. None. The next step is to write the reduced equation. You can either write the original equation or you can write it in factored form. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now, don't highlight yours, but I want you to look at what I'm doing. I'm highlighting these in pink and yellow. Listen what I need you to understand. They are exactly the same equation. It means exactly the same thing. One is factored, one is not. That's the difference, okay? The next step, by the way, I want to say something to you. This right here, all this stuff right here, you can do it in any order. The order does not matter, okay? So let's just go down the line, okay? Find the vertical asymptote. Tell me with one word how to find the vertical asymptote. Bottom. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. So everybody go, what one's easier to let the bottom be a 0, the yellow or the pink? The pink, it's already factored. So if you just look at x plus 1, you get x equals -1, x minus 1, so it's odd. If you look at x minus 1, you get x equals positive 1. The exponent is 1, so it's odd. To find the x-intercept, you let y be 0, which is the same as letting the blank be a 0. What's the blank? The top. Which one's easier to let the top be a 0? Yellow or pink? Pink. If you said yellow, we're learning. Nobody's perfect. If you said yellow, I want you to look right here. Okay? If you said yellow, then you're going to go x squared minus 4 equals 0. Then you're going to factor, and you'll get to where the pink is, and then you solve it, and you get negative 2 and positive 2. Why would you make yourself do an extra step? This is already factored for you. So you would go negative 2, 0, crossing. I can just look at it. Positive 2, 0, comma, crossing. If you're struggling with which one to use every time I ask you, it's okay. You'll get the right answer. It's just tougher, and I'm trying to make it easy on you, okay? Okay, to find the y-intercept, I'm going to let x be a 0. Look at my equations, yellow and pink. Imagine putting a 0 in for x. Which one's easier, yellow or pink? Yellow. The answer's staring at you. The x squareds go away. You have negative 4 over negative 1, which is a positive 4. Okay, good. Horizontal asymptote and oblique asymptote, hook those together and tell yourself that it's a non-vertical asymptote. I'm going to check for horizontal first. How do you find a horizontal? Make yourself remember. Biggest over biggest. Look at that pink. X over X. Is that right? It's common, and it's wrong. It's not X over X. It's what? X squared over X squared. I've got 2 pink X's on the top and 2 pink X's on the bottom. Or better yet, look at yellow. X squared over X squared. What does that give you for a non-vertical, everybody? Y equals 1. Wonderful. Make sure you don't just say 1. It's y equals 1. They will not give you any credit if you just say 1. Okay? Okay, let's cross those out. You don't have to differentiate. Does it cross a non-vertical? Here we go. This is new. Take the right-hand side of the non-vertical. That's a 1. Set it equal to the right-hand side of the reduced. Listen for a second. I could write yellow. I could write pink. My next step would then be to cross multiply. Which one's going to be easier, yellow or pink? Yellow, because it's already partially multiplied, right? If you do pink, you're going to have to go x plus 2 times x minus 2, get that, then cross multiply. Then the other one, x plus 1, x minus 1, multiply, then cross. That's just more work. So I'm going to write x squared minus 4 over x squared minus 1. Okay, put a 1 underneath and cross multiply, and I get x squared minus 1 equals x squared minus 4. This x squared comes over and becomes a negative and knocks that one out. Negative 1 equals negative 4. What's my answer? No, negative 1 is not equal to negative 4. Okay, let's graph it. Grab your pencil. You have a vertical asymptote at x equals 1. Dash it, make it really long, and at the top put odd. You have one at 1, and you have one at negative 1. Dash them, put odd on the top of each of them. Okay, I want you to freeze right there. Please answer this question so I can see if you understand. How many pieces will I have to my graph? Tell me. 3. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. So dash it. Leave the center open. Do I really need to leave the center open? Why not? Doesn't cross it, right? So now I know, see all those red lines? I can't touch any of them, or I'm breaking the rules, right? Switch writing utensils. Go to a pencil and go to 2, 0 with a dot crossing, negative 2, 0 with a dot crossing, also 0, 4. Don't go right or left, but go up 4. Okay? Now, just stay with me. Stay right here with me. I always start in the left region. You can start wherever you want. We're going to start in the left region today. My graph is either going to, don't write any of this down, okay? My graph is either going to go up like this, or it's going to go down like this. One of those two things, okay? Who says I understand? Raise your hand. Great. So I'm just looking at the left, okay? What if it was up? I know I have to touch this. By the way, everybody grab your pencil and draw arrows right there, because I know that's where my graph is going at the end. Right? Okay, everybody watch this. Just watch me. Up high, come down. I've got to hit that point, cross through, and then I go, uh-oh, where do I go now? Some people do this. Woo! That's not right. Right? You drew those arrows. You got to head to your arrow. So you come over here, you get to the arrow, and you're done. Is that okay? No. No. Why not? Crossed a non-vertical, crossed an x-intercept. I broke a lot of rules. I cannot do that. There is zero chance that that thing's up. It's got to be down. Okay? So it's going to be down like this, come over, cross through, go up. Can I cross that red dashed line? No, but I know that's where I go because of my arrow, right? So I go like this. Does it matter that I drew it above and it ended up below? No, that doesn't matter. So get rid of it. Okay, now I want you to take the two pieces of paper that I had you grab. Okay, I want you to turn them over so that it's blank. That all you can see is white. Okay, listen what I want you to do. I want you to put one of the piece of papers right here. So put the edge here and cover up that whole part of the graph. So you have a paper here. I want you to take the other paper and I want you to put it right here. Okay, so put the edge right there. So now all you can see is this. Okay, everybody look forward for me. All you can see is this small little piece of your graph. Okay, see this horizontal asymptote? Don't care about it. Don't care, don't care, don't care. I don't care about anything except for this. This asymptote is odd. I'm looking here. As I approach it from the left, it goes down. Therefore, as I approach it from the right, and that little piece that I'm looking at, you better talk to me. Where am I going? If it's odd, do I go up or do I go down? Tell me. I go up. Yay. Who said I get that? Okay, yay. Okay, so that's going to be up. So grab your pencil and let's make that guy up. He must be up. Everybody freeze for a second. You played dominoes. I know you have. Where you set them all up and then you hit one and then they all go tumbling down, right? That's what's happening. It's tumbling. I can figure this out. They're just rolling. I'm playing Sudoku and I know this is a 7 and this is a 1 and this is a 4, so then this has to be an 8. It's just tumbling, okay? Watch. Can my graph do this? Swing down and go low. Can I do that? No. Why not? Cross a non-vertical, cross the x-axis. I can't do any of those things, okay? So I can't go down, so I must go up, okay? So swing up, and it looks like this. I have, how many more regions? Am I done? How many more regions? One more. Grab those papers. Grab those papers. Put one piece of paper right here. Put the edge of it here and cover all this area. Take the other piece of paper and I want you to put it right here. The only thing I care about right now, guys, is what you can now see that's not covered by the papers, which is right here. This asymptote is odd. As I approach it from the left, it went up. So as I approach it from the right, you better talk to me. Where do I go? Down. Down. That has to be down. Okay. Grab your pencil and make that go down. And then it comes up like this, hits it cross through. This is where some people falter. They don't know where to go. Well, if you start by telling yourself where to go at the end, then you just follow and go to the arrow. Does it matter that was down below? Nope. I'm done. Okay, look right here for 2 seconds. Check this out. Minus half the points. I'm not exaggerating. That is minus half the points. Why half the points? Tell me.
Because you went away from the line.
Yeah. If that person's going down, they're not understanding asymptote means get closer to it, not start swinging down. Your end behavior on the left is not down, it's horizontal. So please be so careful and make this line get closer and closer and closer to that red line like that. Be very careful, okay? Yes, sir?
What if it was getting closer and like a part of your line accidentally touches the red dashed line?
Then I think you better get your eraser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would get my eraser. Yeah. They're really pretty picky about it, bud. You know what I mean? And I think you understand when people do that, swing back down, I think they understand. I think they're just getting kind of sloppy. You know what I mean? But they'll get you. So let's just be really careful, okay? Okay, here goes question number 3. Make yourself start memorizing the paper. You don't get the paper on the quiz or the midterm or the final or anything. So try to wean away from it. Every person tell me step 1. Factor. Okay? So everybody write down f of x equals x over x plus 3 times x minus 3. Make yourself remember the next step. What is it? Domain. That comes from where? Tell me, guys. The bottom. So x cannot be equal to plus or minus 3. Do you remember the next step? This is step 3. Reduce. Does anything reduce? No. After that is step 4, which is whole, none. The reduced equation, make sure you write it as f of x equals, it must be an equation, and you can write it as the original or the factored, it doesn't matter, okay? I'm going to highlight mine in yellow and pink because one version is going to be easier and one's going to be tougher depending on the question. These things I can do in any order. Vertical asymptote comes from, tell me, bottom. Yellow is easier or pink is easier? Pink is easier. So you have x equals negative 3. The exponent's 1. 1 is odd. Odd means cross. X minus 3. Exponent's 1. That gives you x equals 3. 1 is odd. Oh, sorry, not cross. That should be odd. It's an odd vertical asymptote and an odd vertical asymptote. To find the x-intercept, you let y be 0, which is the same as letting the blank be 0. What's the blank? Y is a 0, which is the same as letting the blank be a 0. What's the blank? The top, right? So I have 0, 0, odd. Odd means cross. If 0, 0 is an x-intercept, it's also a y-intercept. Hook your horizontal asymptote and your oblique asymptote together and change your notes, and it should say non-vertical asymptote. Non-vertical asymptote is either horizontal or oblique. I'm going to check horizontal first. How do you check horizontal? Somebody tell me. Biggest over biggest. Look at the pink. X over x means y equals 1. Is that right? No, it is not x over x. It's x over x squared. Now you have to remember this. The bottom exponent's bigger than the top. So it's either going to be none or it's going to be y equals 0. Which one is it? Y equals 0. Yep, you have to have it memorized. Okay. Does it cross a non-vertical? Take the right side of the non-vertical, 0. Set it equal to the right side of the original. If you write down the pink, it's okay, but the yellow is easier because it's already multiplied out. So it's a step ahead of the other one. Cross multiply, and I get x equals 0. I didn't end up with something weird like 4 equals 2. If you get x equals anything that works out, it's a yes. So yes, it does cross it. Where does it cross it? When x is 0. How do you figure out the other value? You can store a 0 in your calculator and plug it in, but this one's easy because you can see already we found out on the x and y intercepts that if x is 0, then y is a 0. So it's going to hit it at 0, 0. Who says I'm good? I'm following you. Okay, I feel like this is going really well for you guys. grab your pencil, red marker I mean, make a vertical asymptote at x equals positive 3. At the top put an odd. Put another vertical asymptote at x equals negative 3. And at the top put an odd. How many parts is my graph going to have? Tell me. 3. Right, center, and left. The non-vertical asymptote is y equals 0. Should I fill the center in or leave it open? Why open? Because it's going to cross it. Where's it going to cross it? At 0, 0. So put a dot right there. And I want you to put the letter C right there because it's going to cross. That's everything I know. Okay, what I want you to do right now, please, is just kick back. Just watch. Please don't write what I'm doing. Just watch. Okay? Left region up high. Come down. Go to the asymptote. This is odd. If this is up, this must be down. Come up, hit it, cross through. I know I can't swing back down because then I'll touch the x-axis and I can't do it. So this is going to go up. This asymptote is odd. So this side went up, so this side is going to go down. I did not break any rules. Okay, watch this. Down low, let me change colors, see if I can get a more, how about this one? Down low, swing up, and get to that asymptote. This asymptote is odd, so if the green is down low, on the other side it has to be up high. Hit it, cross through, I know I can't swing back up, so it's got to be down low. This asymptote is odd. On the left it's down, so on the right it must be up, and it looks like that. I didn't break any rules. Both of them work. I don't have two answers. So what do I do to figure out which one's right? Think about this. What do I do to figure out which one's right? It's a very simple solution. Tell them.
You gotta plug in a point.
You plug in a point. I appreciate you not blurting it out. He has already seen this lesson before. So he knew what the answer was, but he was being very polite and giving you a chance to think about it. You plug in a value. Look over here on the left region. One of the x values in the left region is a -4. Grab your calculator. Everybody go, -4, store, enter. Now put that into the equation, and you guys, you have to be careful to put parentheses around the denominator. Okay, so everybody go, membar, enter, divided by parenthesis, membar, enter, x squared, minus 9, close it, enter, and I get a -0.57. Which one's right, you guys, purple or green? If x is a -4, then I get a -0.5. It's green. Why is it green, Hope? The green is below the x-axis. Yeah, I went down. So this is your answer. So sometimes you have to plug in a few more points to be able to get the answer right. Okay, who says I'm good? I'm feeling good. Yeah, I feel like this is going so great. Now, I do have, I don't know if it's bad news, I do have some news. That is not how Weber State's going to ask you to do the problem. Okay, look at question 4. Cross out A, cross out B, cross out C, cross out D. On questions 1, 2, and 3, do you see how I really guided you through the problem? Weber State is not going to do that. They're not going to guide you through the problem. Okay, you're going to have to remember, that's why this is tough. Not only do you have to remember the order and everything that's on here, you have to remember how to do it. They're not going to say find the domain, reduce, find the whole, find this, find this. You have to remember everything. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my equation over here so it's closer. Here we go. Stick right with me, okay? Step number 1. Everybody tell me step 1. Factor. Done. Step number 2, what is it? Domain. Now let's think about this. What Weber State is really grading is your graph. So if they don't tell you to find the domain, do I need to? I don't. Because my restrictions are going to come up as an asymptote or a hole. So do I really have to write it down? I don't. There will be questions on your midterm that they give you that problem and they say find the domain, done. Okay? Obviously on that problem you have to find the domain, right? On this guy, do I have to find the domain? I really don't. Go to the next step. Make yourself remember the steps. What's next? Reduce. Does this reduce? No. So there is no hole, there is no reduced equation, okay? I don't like the fact that I don't have a multiplied out version on the side. So I'm going to go f of x equals x plus 3 over x to the second minus 4x plus 4. Okay, you don't have to highlight yours. Mine's going to be yellow and pink. Okay, I want someone to start spouting out all the things that I'm going to have to find to graph this. What are they? Just start telling me. Okay, y-intercept, x-intercept. I'm going to put x before. That's kind of typical. It doesn't have to be. Say it again. Vertical asymptote. Keep going. Non-vertical asymptote. There's one more thing. There's 5 things you have to know. Say it again. Domain. I don't have to know domain because remember we just talked about that. It's either going to be a hole or a vertical asymptote, so I don't have to do that. Does it cross? Okay. After these, put colons. Don't put equals. If you put an equals, like on vertical asymptote, you'd go equals x equals 2. That is not mathematically correct. So equals and then x equals is not right, so make those all colons. Okay, the order in which you do these does not matter. To find the x-intercept, you let y be a 0, which is the same as letting the blank be a 0. What's the blank? The top. You get negative 3, 0. You only have 1, so it's going to cross. To find the y-intercept, I let x be a 0. Which one's easier to let x be a 0, pink or yellow? Yellow. Everything goes away except for the 3 on the top and the 4 on the bottom. Vertical asymptotes come from where? The bottom. Which one's easier, pink or yellow? Pink. And I have x equals 2, odd. This happened to my students about 2 years ago. Half of them missed it. It was heartbreaking for me. It is not odd. Everybody write down f of x equals x plus 3 over x minus 2 squared. That is not odd, that's even. If you write odd and not even, your graph will not be possible. Because to be the same, you'll have to cross a non-vertical or something that you can't do. It won't work, okay? Non-vertical asymptote is a horizontal or an oblique. We're going to start with horizontal. How do you find horizontal? Biggest over biggest. Is it x over x? No, it's what? X over x squared. The bottom's bigger than the top. Is that 0 or is that none? It's y equals 0. Yep, y equals 0. Does it cross a non-vertical asymptote? Everybody go 0 equals. The right-hand side of the non-vertical is a 0. I'm going to let it equal to the yellow multiplied out version of the reduced equation. Put a 1 underneath and cross multiply. When I do that, I get x plus 3 equals 0. Move my 3 over, x equals negative 3. Is the answer yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Where does it cross it? When x is a negative 3. To find out what y is, store a negative 3 in your calculator, put it in. But do I really have to do that? No, why not, Rachel? Yeah, I already knew when x is a -3, y is 0. Okay? All right, let's do this. Red marker, x equals +2, dash it, even. Y equals 0, dash it, leave it open. Hey, let me tell you something right here. People feel uncomfortable drawing the asymptote on top of the axis, so they'll do like a little bit above. That's wrong. It's on the axis. Do not feel uncomfortable dashing on the axis. It's supposed to be on the axis. And I'm going to leave the center open. Why did I leave the center open? Because it crosses it, right? Okay. -3, 0 is where it crosses, so I'm going to put a dot right there, and I'm going to put the letter C. 0, 3/4 is right here. That's everything I know. How many pieces to my graph? 2. Okay. Is this okay? Look, down low. Where do I go? I know I've got to get to that intercept. Is that okay? Can't do it. Can't cross the x-axis, can't cross the non-vertical except for just in that one location. It's not down. It has to be up. So it's up, come kind of wide, hit that thing, it goes very flat. Now this is kind of weird, look, crosses through and it peaks down a little bit and then it comes back up. That's okay. It's okay if it goes down a little bit and comes back up. I keep forgetting to start with the end behavior. And I'm afraid that's going to come back to bite us. So just know that the end behavior on the right is going to be out. That's, I think, the biggest problem, that people don't know where to go. You guys, this asymptote is even. As I approached it from the left, it went up. So as I approach it from the right, it goes, tell me, up. So it's going to be up. And then this is the biggest mistake. Look, people are like, must go that way. Is that where it goes? That's why I want you to start with your end behavior. Then when you get to that point and you go, uh-oh, what now? And then you go, oh yeah, I already did that. Connect. That's it. Okay, who says I'm good? Okay, good. 2 more questions and then we're done. Okay, so I want you to get rid of A. I want you to get rid of B. I want you to get rid of C. I want you to get rid of D. Okay, Hope. I can't see the equation anymore, so I know it's f of x equals x to the 3rd. Will you keep reading it to me, honey?
Plus 2x squared.
Okay.
Minus 3x.
Okay.
Over x squared.
Okay.
Plus x minus 2.
Great. Okay, here we go, guys. Step 1, try, everybody do this. Take this paper, turn it upside down. See if you can do it. Okay. Step 1, you guys are being amazing today. I just want to say that. Thank you so much for answering me, because then I can gauge, are my students understanding? Because that's what I want, right? Everybody tell me, step 1, factor, right? How do I factor the top? So what's the first step? Take out an x. When you do, you're left with x to the 2nd plus 2x minus 3. The bottom goes to an x and an x. The 2 goes to a 2 and a 1. Signs are different. Biggest is the positive. Am I done factoring? Yes or no? No. So I have to factor the top some more. So it's going to be x. The x to 2nd goes to an x and an x. The 3 goes to a 3 and a 1. Signs are different. Biggest is a positive. The bottom is x minus 1 times x plus 2. Try to remember step 2 on the paper. What is it? Domain. Do I need to do that? I don't need to do it. What is step 3 on the paper? Before you know if you have a hole, you have to reduce, right? So can we reduce? Yes, we do. So let's cancel those x minus 1s. Okay? And then I want you to write the word whole. And then I want you to go 1 comma something. What should I do right now? What makes sense to do right now? Clean up that reduced equation. Yeah. So I'm going to go f of x equals x times x plus 3 over x plus 2. I'm also going to write a multiplied out version. which would be f of x equals x to the second plus 3x over x plus 2. I always like to see a multiplied out version and a factored version of the final reduced equation in front of my eyes, because sometimes I look at one and sometimes the other. What should I do now? Finish my whole, right? Plug in a 1. So everybody go f of 1 equals. I don't think yellow or pink are easier. I think it's kind of the same, right? I'm going to do pink. So it's 1 times 1 plus 3 over 1 plus 2. 1 plus 3 is a 4. 4 times 1 is a 4. 2 plus 1 is a 3. So my whole is 1, comma 4/3. Okay? Now I have to remember 5 more things. What are the 5 more things? Tell me. X-intercept, Y-intercept, vertical asymptote, yep. Non-vertical asymptote, one more, cross. Not only do I have to remember them, I have to remember how to find them. To find an x-intercept, I let y be a 0, which is the same as letting the blank be a 0, fill in the blank. The top, pink or yellow, what's easier? Which one's easier to let the top be a 0? Pink, it's done for you, right? Set the x equal to 0, you get 0, 0 crossing. Set x plus 3 equal to 0, you get negative 3, comma 0 crossing. If 0, 0 is an x-intercept, it's also a y-intercept. Vertical asymptote, where does that come from? Bottom, right? X equals negative 2, even or odd? Odd. Non-vertical asymptote. What do I check first for non-vertical? Biggest over biggest, right? So biggest over biggest is yellow, x squared over x. Now freeze for a second. The top is bigger than the bottom. It's either y equals 0 or it's none. Which one is it? It's none. So does that mean that my non-vertical asymptote is none? I have to have one. I have to know where to go. But it's not going to be this. It's going to be this or this. It's going to be an oblique or a slant. How do you find an oblique asymptote? What do? Long division. The bottom goes on the outside. That's x plus 2. On the inside is x to the second plus 3x. Please don't say anything to me for a second. Okay, let's go with it. Write it down. What do I multiply by x to get x to second? X. Distribute x to the second plus 2x. Change my signs. First things cancel. 3x minus 2x is a 1x. There's nothing more to bring down. The x is my remainder. The non-vertical asymptote is y equals x. That's wrong. That's wrong. Why? I didn't do a 0. The x is not really the remainder. I have no constant. So now I have to pull that constant down, and now I have to go again. Guys, freeze for 2 seconds in case this happens to you. You know another way that I know I'm not done? Because what do I multiply by x to get x? Even if that 0 wasn't there, I know it's still going to be right here a plus 1. Right? Okay? So I know I'm not done. Distribute the 1. I get x plus 2. Change the signs. Those cancel. Negative 2. Throw it out. So your non-vertical is actually y equals x plus 1. This happened to my students about, I don't know, a couple of semesters ago. They forgot to add the zeros in and they missed the non-vertical. They messed them up. Okay? Does it cross a non-vertical? Here we go. Take the non-vertical right-hand side, x plus 1. Set it equal to the the reduced equation. Yellow's easier. X to the second plus 3x over x plus 2. Put a 1 underneath the x plus 2 and cross multiply. When you do that, you get x to the second. You have to FOIL x plus 1 times x plus 2. You get x to the second plus 3x plus 2. Cross multiply the other way, you get x to the second plus 3x. I just cross multiplied is all I did. This x to the second comes over and knocks that one out. Bless you. This 3x comes over and knocks that one out. I have 2 equals 0. What's the answer? No. Okay, now let's graph it. So, I have a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. Grab your pencil, or grab your red marker, dash it in red, and at the very top, put odd. Your non-vertical is y equals x plus 1. Watch me graph this. Up 1, make a dot. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. It does not cross a non-vertical, so I can just make it solid. That does not look good. What's wrong and confusing? I can say it again. I didn't draw it long enough, right? Extend it so I can really see what's going on, right? Take your pencil right now. Do this, you guys. Take your pencil and draw in the end behavior. Draw your arrows where it goes far right, far left. Go ahead. I want to make sure you know what the arrows are. Okay, look up and let's see what you did. Look right here. Here, here. If yours are below and mine are up, does that matter? No. Who said I knew exactly where to put those? Okay, yay, yay. Okay, let's fill in the other stuff we know. 0, 0, put a dot and put a C. -3, 0, put a dot and put a C, and that's all we've got. Okay, watch me. Watch, you're going to get so much practice on your own. Look right here. Down low. I've got to get to that x-intercept. Come over, hit it, cross through. Then I kind of go blank for a second. Where do I go? Oh yeah, I already did my arrow. Like that. Is that okay? No. Hit the non-vertical. I hit the x-axis again. It's not acceptable. So it's not right. It's not low. It's high. So it's going to be up high. Come down, hit it, cross through. Do not touch that dashed red line. Stick above, and I'm good. Am I done with my graph? No. This asymptote is odd. On the left I went up, so on the right I must go, tell me, must go down. So this has got to be down, come over, cross through. Should I touch the red dash lines? Nope, because it doesn't cross it, right? Keep those steep. Done. I feel like this is going so well. Who says, I get this? I get it. See, I want everyone to play Sudoku this weekend because that's all we're doing. It's just playing Sudoku. Okay, cross out the equation for number 6. Cross out A, B, C, and D. They're not going to give you any of that. This is what they're going to say to you. It's what it says on your homework. I have a worksheet for you in a second. It says, graph. Make sure you find the x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and all the asymptotes. That's all it tells you, okay? That's not the equation. Here's your equation that we're really going to do. Everybody write y equals -3x to the second over x to the second minus 4x minus 5. I want you to add stars around this question. This is what it's going to look like, I think. Okay? Step number 1. Everybody tell me step 1. Factor. So everybody go y equals -3x to the second over x to the second goes to an x and an x. The 5 goes to a 5 and a 1. Signs are different because it's the negative. Okay? What does step 2 tell you to do on the paper? Domain. Do I need to do that on this? No, they're not asking me specifically for it, so I'm not going to. Step number 3 tells me to do what? Reduce. It's okay. It's the same thing. Reduce. Does it reduce? No. So I have no whole. I have no reduced equation. I'm down to my 5 things. Right now, you write down the 5 things. Don't look at the last problem. Make yourself remember the 5 things. Okay, there they are. X-intercept, y-intercept, vertical asymptote, non-vertical asymptote, does it cross? Here we go. X-intercept. To find the x-intercept, you let y be a 0, which is the same as letting the top be a 0. If I set negative 3x a second equal to 0, what do I get? You get a 0, and it actually bounces because it's even. If 0, 0 is an x-intercept, it's also a y-intercept. Vertical asymptote comes from the, tell me, bottom. Which one's easier, yellow or pink? Yellow. So you have x equals negative 1, odd. X equals positive 5, odd. Non-vertical asymptote, check what first? Biggest over biggest. Pink, negative 3x squared over x squared. That's the easiest scenario. X squareds cancel. What do I get? Yeah, make sure you put y equals, right? Y equals negative 3. I'm telling you, if you put negative 3, you're going to get nothing. Okay, so be careful. Okay, does it cross a non-vertical? Take the right side of the non-vertical, set it equal to the pink equation. Put a 1 underneath and cross multiply. Distribute the negative 3. Negative 3x to the second plus 12x plus 15 equals negative 3x to the second. This negative 3x a second comes over and knocks that one out. Can you tell just right now if it's going to be a yes or a no? It's a yes. It's a yes, because I've still got an x left over and I can solve for that x, right? So I have 12x equals negative 15. Divide by 12, I get negative 15 over 12. Reduce, 3 goes into 15 5 times and into 12 4 times. So yes, it does cross it. Where's it going to cross it? At negative 5 over 4, comma, something. Now listen carefully. Negative 5 over 4 is not an intercept. We've not had to do this before. How do I find the y coordinate that goes with it? Plug it in. Yep, grab your calculator. You guys are so amazing. I just want you to know. You're amazing. I'm so proud of you guys. Negative 5 divide 4 store enter. I'm going to plug it into the pink equation and I'm going to be careful to add parentheses around the bottom. Negative 3 membar enter x squared divided by parenthesis membar enter x squared minus 4 membar enter minus 5, close it, enter, and I get a negative 3. Okay, now I'm ready to graph. Grab your red marker. Negative 3 on the x, dash it, and up above write the word odd. X equals positive 5, dash it, up above, put odd. How many pieces to my graph am I going to have? Talk to me, guys. How many parts to my graph? 3 parts. Right, left, center. Non-vertical asymptote is y equals negative 3. I'm going to draw it in, and I'm going to dash the center. From this point on, please listen. Write what I'm writing, but don't correct me. Okay? It's okay to write it, but I don't want anybody to say anything to me, okay? Okay. 0, 0, put a dot, put a B. And that's all I've got. Okay, left side. First of all, let's do our end behavior. So, out, out. Left-hand side, look right here. Up high, come down, go to that arrow. Can I do that? Is that acceptable? So funny. Listen, I feel like we are like dead on. Last period, period 5, the same thing happened at the same moment. Look at what I drew. Is what I drew acceptable? Tell me yes or no. It is not acceptable. Why not? I crossed the x-axis. Okay, people could not tell me if that was okay or not. Period 5, same thing. It's not okay. I cannot touch the x-axis anywhere except right here at 0, 0. So that is unacceptable. Okay? So there's no way it's down low, or pardon me, up high. It's got to be low. Looks like this. I'm below that non-vertical. Who cares? Just fill it in. Okay. This guy is odd. Okay, so if this is down low, this must be high. So I'm going to come up high, hit it, bounce back up. So now I'm here. Look right here for a second. Can I do this? Swing down and go low. Talk to me, guys. You're freaking me out. How come? Can't cross the x-axis, right? So there's no way I'm low there. I've got to be up high. Okay, look at the other asymptote. This guy's odd. From the left it was up. Everybody tell me, where do I go? Down. So it's got to be down, come over, get to the asymptote. Look at the graph. Minus half the points. Half of the points are wiped away. This is what happened to my students last semester. Why? Go ahead. Did not cross the non-vertical. They literally took off half the points. Non-vertical is -5/4, -3 is where it crosses it. Grab your pencil. Go left 1 1/4, down 3. See this point right here? My graph has to touch that point. So the right and the left are both correct. Pardon me, the right and the center. It's the left that I did a minor little mistake. Look what I did. It's got to come up. It's got to hit it. It's got to cross through. So now I'm here. Tell me where to go now. Where do I go? Like this?
No.
Where do I go? Go back down to that asymptote, right? So you got to swing back down. Looks like this. Full credit. Okay? Who says I'm good? Let me see. Yay! That went really well.